first session. Welcome to the very first session of this year's BIC Africa Acceleration Program for Female Entrepreneurs 2025. We are so excited to have you here with us today and over the next 12 weeks as we help you with your businesses and help you really accelerate where you are right now to where it is that you want to get to. We are going to be spending quite a bit of time together over the next 12 weeks, but first, for our agenda today, first we're going to set some ground rules. We're going to introduce the BIC Africa team, where they're going to tell you a little bit about the program and the history of the program over the last 5 years. We'll then talk about what our time together looks like. So we'll give you a breakdown of week by week what the 12 weeks of the program will be like. We're going to then spend some time getting to know each other and learning about you and about your businesses and having you pair up with one another to form a buddy relationship. We'll get into that soon. We're then going to spend time setting your intentions and your expectations for the next 3 months so that you can really walk away today with some clear goals, some clear ideas of what it is that you're trying to achieve so that you can make sure that you're staying on track during this time to get there. And then finally, we will wrap up with what is next, giving you some insight into what's coming next week and indeed in the weeks to follow. So some ground rules before we get started into all of the content. Over the course of our time together, we would really love for you to be present. I know how hard it is to focus for 2 hours on your business once a week. You have a million things going on, a million things on your to-do list, but really try to take advantage of this time to work on your business. Be open-minded. There might be some things that you learn that you already know or that you've already heard about, but this is an opportunity to get new ideas from your peers and also from your trainers and from me as your facilitator, and to do different things, to try new ways of doing things. Be vulnerable. This is a safe space and we are here to help you. The more open and honest that you can be with us and the things that you're experiencing in your business, the more that we can help you during the 12 weeks that we're together. Next, be interactive. Share your questions and your comments in the chat. There's going to be various times during each of our sessions where we invite you to be vocal. Don't worry if English is not your first language. Do not worry if your spelling is incorrect. We just want you to be active and interactive as much as possible because this is where the real value comes from. There will be times we break into smaller breakout rooms where you have one other person, maybe a small group, and that's an opportunity to share further. But when we ask you to engage, take advantage, engage. The next is to be respectful of the different cultures, customs, and ways of working. The women that are in this program represent 12 different countries across sub-Saharan Africa, and us as your facilitators and trainers represent another half dozen or so. We all have different ways of doing things. We all have different cultures and customs. So be respectful of one another. And also try not to take offense if someone says something that maybe rubs you the wrong way. It might just be that they're more direct and they have a different way of speaking. And then be visible. As much as possible, we would love for you to have your video on. And now I know as much as you, sometimes our bandwidth doesn't allow that to happen. Sometimes our internet is not great. But as much as you can, please be on video because it does help you to be more present in the meeting and to be more engaged. And then don't forget, turn off all of your distractions, really try to be present. So if you have to lock your door, if you have to hide away in another room, then please do so. And mute your microphone when you're not talking to avoid any background noise distracting the other participants. All of our sessions will be recorded, so if some reason you need to skip a session or you need to drop off early, then you can always come back and review the replay. Even indeed, if you just want to review the content again and go over it again, those sessions will be there for you. And then finally, enjoy the program and the network that you'll be creating over these 12 weeks. We're super excited to start with you today and, and to support you over the next 3 months. I want to do some introductions now. So first is me. I am Danielle Anderson. I am going to be your facilitator throughout this entire program, meaning every single week you are going to see my face. And I'm also going to be your coach during the 4 coaching sessions. I am a business strategist and business coach with over 20 years of experience, including 12 years supporting women entrepreneurs, and 8 of those being here on the continent. My career actually began in corporate strategy many, many years ago with JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and HSBC. And since transitioning into entrepreneurship in 2012, I've literally worked with thousands of women worldwide. My mission as a business coach and strategist is really to help you simplify, structure, and scale your businesses while also creating systems and boundaries that reduce burnout, protect your time, and are aligned with your personal values. I'm super passionate about helping women break free from hustle culture and build scalable, thriving businesses without working themselves to death in the process. As your facilitator and coach throughout this program, I'm super excited to guide you and support you on this entire journey. The next ladies that I would like to introduce to you are going to be your expert trainers. You have a powerhouse team of trainers this year with literally over 60 years combined. I don't want to age us all, but over 60 years of combined experience in supporting women in business. The first woman that is going to be your trainer is Agnes. She built her technical skill set in strategic consulting in the finance industry, also at JP Morgan, coincidentally, and then spent the next decade on the continent heading programs and organizations focused on health system strengthening, rural socioeconomic, agriculture, and urban development. Today, Agnes dedicates her experience and her skills to her passion, which is boosting private sector development in emerging contexts through different capacities. She is the co-founder and CFO of a company called Aerial Metric, which is a startup company extending drone-powered logistical solutions in Africa. She also extends strategic advisory services to impact investment funds and provides executive coaching and mentoring to founders and management investment teams. The next expert trainer that you'll have alongside you during this journey is Jana Titsch. She is an innovation and startup coach dedicated to empowering women entrepreneurs, especially in underrepresented industries. With a background in international business and innovation management, she supports founders in developing scalable business models, identifying product market fit, and crafting impactful marketing strategies. She is the head of the regional office of BWCon, based in Southwest Germany, and she leads innovation projects across Europe. Her practical experience is complemented by a strong commitment to women's empowerment, shaped through her active role at She at Marcotte, a corporate initiative supporting women in tech through mentoring, networking, and knowledge exchange. Just let me move that, sorry. My screen is not big enough for all the things I want to tell you ladies about. Our final trainer, our lead trainer, is Christelle Khalil. She brings over 18 years of experience in entrepreneurship, program development, management, mentoring, and advisory services across Lebanon and the Euro-Mediterranean region. She supports entrepreneurs in building successful ventures and empowers stakeholders to cultivate thriving entrepreneurship ecosystems. As director of the Projects Lab at Veritech, she leads initiatives in social innovation, green and circular economy, and technology transfer with a focus on empowering women and youth. Christelle is also a certified mentor, social and green entrepreneurship coach, and quality management assessor, committed to advancing sustainable business practices and social innovation across the region. So you have, like I said, a powerhouse team of trainers that are going to support you throughout the next 12 weeks. Many of these women, and myself included, have been involved in the previous iterations of the BIC Africa program. So we are bringing to you everything that we've learned over the years to make this year even more powerful and more impactful. And we're super excited to get started with you. Agnes and Jana are not with us here today, but they will be joining us in future sessions, which I'll break down to you in a little while. All right, so next up, we are going to introduce our lovely BIC Africa team. So I am actually going to hand over to Christina, who is going to then lead the introductions of the team and then also share with you a little bit about the program and its history. Christina, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel, and thanks for everyone for being here. It is really great to finally be able to meet you online after all the email exchanges and after seeing your wonderful businesses and exchanging with you. So my name is Christina Dax. I am the project manager of the BIC Africa project. I am myself originally from Budapest, Hungary, but I've been living for about 8 years now in Nice in France. And I'm working, sorry, closely with other team members from who you will hear in a second. So Robert, I might hand over the word to you firstly, just for a quick intro. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Christina. So my name is Robert Sanders. I also am now living in France, near Toulouse, southwest France, and I'm from the UK originally. And my background is very much in the private sector, and delighted to be able to lead the BIC Africa project. I've had the chance to look at a lot of your applications and your businesses as well, and quite a wide selection and some very exciting projects. We hope that this opportunity will give you a chance also to connect and meet with some of our members who are based here in Europe. From the past editions, we've seen that the group dynamics are very important. So we hope to be able to, with your support, get a nice, vibrant group going, and introducing you over the next coming weeks to some of our connections in Europe. And we know it's going to be an exciting program. And thanks again for attending today, and also for keep going and coming to all the sessions as we go forward. Thanks, Christina. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Robert. Perhaps we can hand over the word to David Dagne, who's our communication officer.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everyone. My name is David. I am from Ethiopia and also based in Addis Ababa. Yeah, I'm also working in communication of the project together with my colleagues you already met. I'm so excited to see you and meet you all, but also looking what you are undertaking this very exciting journey with you. Thank you very much. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you very much, David. Chiara, would you like to say a few words as well?
Yes, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the program. I am Chiara Davalli, and I'm Impact Manager at TBN. So, indeed, working on many different initiatives aimed at making the most out of the different opportunities entrepreneurship and innovation can offer to society. Just wanted to share that this for me is one of the best activities we run at TBN. I love really spending these weeks with you ladies because you can see that it's a journey that is giving a lot to everybody, all the people involved. So I look forward to share the journey with you, to see how you'll be progressing. And of course, as a colleague said, let us know how we can support by making introductions eventually, and connections with EBN members spread all around Europe. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chiara. So perhaps we will just start with explaining a little bit more about what exactly is the BIC Africa project, and to give you some background information. Right. So actually, BIC Africa is part of the program Support to Entrepreneurship and MSME Creation, and it consists of 5 different country projects, the aim of which, all of which, is to establish and consolidate business incubators in each of these 5 different countries. So in Angola, Comoros, Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Somalia. The goal is always to really either create or reinforce the existing incubators in these countries, as such contributing to job creation and sustainable livelihoods. But all of these projects have various work programs and are actually led by different partners. So as you can see on the slide, for example, in Angola, APfWE, which is part of the World Bank, is leading the project. In Comoros, Madagascar, and Somalia, we're working with UNIDO. And in Ethiopia, it is Sequa, a German consultancy company, that's leading the project. So on top of this, BIC Africa is actually the regional network that interconnects all of these local country projects. and also offers software networking services. Sorry, I have to drink for a second. So the aim is really to support business incubation, build innovation bridges, and foster inclusive, decent job creation, and to create partnerships between the African and the European continent as a whole. Next slide, please. So to introduce our beneficiaries, we primarily work with business incubators in the 5 countries, but of course the final beneficiaries are entrepreneurs, SMEs, and startups. And in the whole process, we also work with a number of enablers, so policymakers, business angels, universities, EU delegations, and so on, with whom we discuss the development and the process. Next slide, please. So to explain a bit more how we actually support these different 5 country projects that I mentioned before. So firstly, we've been supporting them in the initial phase with the ecosystem mapping and the selection of the incubators in each of these 5 countries, which then became part of their programs. Secondly, we organize various network meetings, virtual but also physical, to interconnect these projects, to enable them to facilitate best practice exchanges between them, to also update them on the various EU initiatives that exist and the synergies that can be created. We also share different opportunities with the incubators from the 5 country projects. We link them to other projects. We interlink them with the incubators from other countries, with relevant stakeholders, and so on. And finally, we also have dedicated network programs within BIC Africa, such as this one, the Acceleration Program for Women Entrepreneurs, which is actually quite different from the other services that we provide, because most of the time, as mentioned, we work directly with business incubators. But then in this program, we really target entrepreneurs and, of course, female entrepreneurs. So this is a quite exclusive program where we work directly with businesses rather than the incubators. Next slide, please. Right. So now to explain you a bit more how we support the incubators that we're working with in the different countries. So first of all, we have various capacity building and skill development services. So this includes what we call a virtual training center, and we also organize what we call national and African bootcamp trainings. So these are specific capacity building programs targeted at business incubator managers, whereby we also often invite EBN members, experts in the field of business incubation, who provide the training and capacity buildings to the local stakeholders. We try to really adapt it all the time to the local context as well as and make it as pertinent as possible. But the idea is to really share best practices in the field of incubation globally. Then we have services that are targeted at making a better connection between the different incubators. So we have what we call soft landing services, and hereby we actually invite, again, African business incubators to spend about a week's time in Europe at an EBN member, a certified business incubator in Europe. And again, the idea is to enable a collaboration between these different incubators, the European and the African, to also see what's relevant for them, to adapt also in their local context, to explain how the business model, the financial model of incubators works in Europe, and to make this connection with the aim of a long-term collaboration. And then we have a similar service in Africa, which we call staff exchange program. So here The idea is the same. So the business incubator managers spend about a week's time in each other's organization to learn from each other, to see how collaboration can be built, and so on. So for example, now we will have an exchange between Ethiopian and Angolan incubators. Then we also do quality assessment activities. So this is actually a practice built on EBN methodology, because our organization, one of our core activities is certifying incubators across Europe and beyond. So we adopt this principle and apply it also in the African context. The idea is to assess based on KPIs, based on a questionnaire, the incubators that are part of the network, and also benchmark them with other incubators so that they can identify potential areas of improvement. They can compare their organization to other African organizations, and really also establish a monitoring framework whereby they follow KPIs, they follow the startups that they support, and so on. Then we also have connection with diaspora and networking activities. So hereby foremost, we hold webinars where we invite successful entrepreneurs from the diaspora communities, and we aim to connect them with entrepreneurs from the same respective countries or the same sectors, with the perspective also that they could become mentors or establish a collaboration, and so on. After, we also have various awareness raising activities, and we always try to connect the different incubators with actors from other countries, and we share opportunities of various potential projects and funding opportunities, and so on. But that is really the core of it. So I hope you now have a little bit of a better overview of what we do in BIC Africa as a project. And as already mentioned, this is really quite a specific activity, because here we work directly with you, and we're very, very happy to do so. So with that, I'd hand back over the word to Danielle, and many thanks again for being here. We're very excited, as my colleagues mentioned as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Christina, for the great overview of the program. It's been such a pleasure to work with this team over the last 5 years, and I'm, just the support that they give to the women entrepreneurs is bar none. So you guys are in great hands, or you ladies are in great hands, I should say. And the Women of BIC Africa is an ever-growing community. In our first year, which was back in 2021, we had 60 applications, 20 participants coming from 4 countries. In our second year, in 2022, we had 65 applications with 21 participants, also coming from 4 countries. Then when we moved into 2023 for our third cohort, we had 133 applications, 20 participants coming from 11 sub-Saharan Africa countries. Last year in 2024, we had 139 applications, 23 participants coming from 10 countries. And this year, by far the furthest, we've had 170 applications. We have 30 women with us joining this year, the ladies that are here today, coming from 12 countries across the continent. So it's a growing community, and we are so happy that you are a part of it. Today, we've also invited some of our past participants to join us and to give some words of encouragement of their experience. So I see, Kalkadan, that you're here. Can I ask you maybe to unmute yourself and come on video and just share for a few minutes about what your experience was like in the program, and even after the program, what did you take away? How has your business evolved over the past year or so?
Okay, thank you, Daniela. And I'm glad to see you here, all of you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
To begin with, my name is Kalkidan Shetty, and I had the privilege to join the BIC African Acceleration Program in the fourth cohort, like Daniela mentioned earlier. And my experience include both the training session and also the coaching session separately, which was conducted by the BIC African Acceleration Program. And the BIC Africa Acceleration Program helped my business in many aspects. To begin with, my business focus on production of organic pesticide from locally available plant species in order to prevent pests that attack the pre-harvest and post-harvest crops. And generally, this program helped our business in different aspects, like I said earlier, let me mention those areas, especially by revisiting the value proposition that we created for our business, and also updating the pitch decks. In what way can we process, or can we present our pitch to the investors or to the people that concern about this working environment, and also working on the business model canvas on each activity, especially on the 7 elements and what to include on those business model canvas. And also we have seen the financial management, how can we improve our financial management. And we also begin from mission and also SDGs to include in our business. And lastly, customer attracting. What are the customer attracting types, and also how to go to the market strategies. And these are not only the sessions or the coaching session that we learned, but I presented like as an example for you guys. The BIC Africa acceleration program is very interesting, and I hope you will enjoy it very much. The coaching session was incredible again, and the training session also incredible. And also I had the privilege of getting a mentor. She was also a great mentor. I really appreciate her endeavors, and I hope you will enjoy this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kalkidan, for sharing your experience with us last year, and even indeed in the months that followed. Ladies, I hope that was a little bit of insight into what you can expect over the months that come. But let's get into more detail about what the program is going to look like. So the core program includes 6 online interactive training modules. I will give you the details of those in a few minutes. 4 online group coaching sessions, which will happen with me. You then have 2 networking sessions, one today and one as the final session at the end on the 22nd of July. You'll have access to support documents and recordings of all of the sessions, and then integration into the larger BIC Africa community of women entrepreneurs with visibility on the BIC Africa website, social media channels, etc. The program will also open doors for further opportunities and awards. So you will receive a certificate of recognition at the end for those who successfully complete at least 9 out of the 12 sessions. You will have access to remote one-to-one mentoring support, which will be offered to high-performing participants selected by the BIC Africa Expert Committee. I'll get into that on the next slide. And then finally, other business awards will also be available to high-performing participants selected by the BIC Africa Committee. So I'd like to highlight further this opportunity for mentoring. So as Kalkidan mentioned, she had access to a mentor last year, and that provided her with additional one-to-one support on her business to answer any questions she was experiencing, to troubleshoot any challenges. So selected entrepreneurs will be eligible for 6 hours of expert mentoring from June until late July. If selected, you will be matched with a European incubation expert who will accompany your growth trajectory. You are going to be selected based on 3 criteria. The first is the number of sessions that you attend. So your attendance is super important. You need to show up, you need to be with us in order to be eligible for mentoring. The second is to be active during those sessions. So as I said at the beginning, be interactive, drop your comments in the chat, ask questions, share, be vulnerable. The more active you are, the more that we will notice that you are taking everything seriously, and we'll consider that as a criteria for mentoring. And then the third is that you have to submit a 1-page motivational letter on why you would like to engage with a mentor and which topics you would like to focus on. This letter is not due yet. It's due by the 27th of this month. So you have a few weeks to fill it in, and I will give you reminders throughout so that you know that this is coming. But you'll submit this 1-page motivational letter to Christina and CC in Dawit and Robert. After that submission takes place, we will notify you if you have been selected, and then we will pair you up with an expert mentor to take you further in your journey. So this is entirely optional. You do not need to participate in mentoring if you don't want to participate in mentoring. But if you do want to, then these are the 3 criteria that we ask you to meet. Now I want to take you through in more detail what our time together is going to look like over these 12 weeks so that you have a feeling of what is coming up in the time that we have. So today we're opening with our first networking session. We're doing all of our introductions. We're going to do some goal setting towards the end. Next week, you'll have coaching session number 1, which is going to be with me. All of your coaching sessions are with me. So next week, we're going to talk about becoming a leader. Even if right now you are just a solo woman shop, at some point in order to grow your business, you're going to need to step into a leadership role so that you can bring people on board and grow your business without having to be in it all the time. So next week, we're really going to be focusing on becoming a leader. You'll then have your first 3 training sessions in succession. So training session number 1 will be on your why. So mission-driven entrepreneurship and finding your why. Training session 2 will be what? So crafting your unique value proposition and your product. Training session number 3 will be the how. So designing your business model for scalability. You'll then have another coaching session with me on the 10th of June, and that one is going to be about overcoming barriers. So in advance of that session, I will invite you to share your challenges with me, things that you're experiencing, and I will be doing one-to-one coaching in a group setting, but one-to-one coaching with all of you so that we can really dig deep on whatever it is that is making you feel stuck or making you feel confused or making you hesitate or lack confidence. We will then have another coaching session the week after that where we are going to dig into money mindsets. Now, as entrepreneurs, money is a super important thing that you ladies really need to get a grasp of, no matter how it is that you feel about it. But we often have a lot of money mindsets that hold us back or that make us believe certain things about money, and all of those impact our businesses. So we're going to dig into those in a lot more detail on 17th of June in preparation for going into the training sessions that follow, which are all about finances. So training session number 4 is going to be about how, so financial management tools. And then training session number 5 will be about who, so access to finance, investor readiness, and also partnership development. You will then have your final coaching session with me on the 8th of July, which is going to be about storytelling and the art of the pitch. Some of you may be looking to to get investors at some point in the future. You may be looking to apply for different grants or competitions, and you need to know how to talk about your business. But even if you're not looking for investment or you're not looking to join other competitions or enter into other programs, you still need to know how to talk about your business so that you can bring in customers, so that you can bring in team members, and that you can inspire people to want to work with you. So that's what we'll be covering in that final coaching session. Then you'll have your final training session on the 15th of July, which is about how, so building your go-to market strategy. And then we will wrap up on Tuesday, the 22nd of July with a final networking session, which will be our closing session, which will also include some reflections, some final assessments, and next steps for how you can continue to participate in the network. Now, that's a lot. Don't worry, I will remind you every single week about what is to come. When there is stuff for you to prepare in advance for that session, especially for the coaching sessions, I will share that with you in advance. Also, I am here to hold your hand literally every step of the way throughout this journey. The last piece of the program that I want to share with you before we get into more of introductions is your homework throughout the program. So we have created a workbook to support you through each of the training sessions. A template for this workbook will be added to the Google Drive, and we will share these links with you after today's session. During and between each session, you will have an opportunity to complete the exercises within the workbook. And the aim of this workbook is really to support you, to make sure that the things that you're learning during the training sessions are being implemented, that you're thinking about them, that you're challenging the way that you're thinking, that you're challenging the way that your business is running. And it's really designed to give you a concrete piece of output at the end where you can say, okay, this is the evolution that my business has gone through in these 12 weeks. In addition to that, each week, 2 people will be randomly selected to receive additional support and feedback on their workbook inputs. So when you complete the workbook, every single week, there'll be 1 section to work on. As you complete that, then at the start of the next session, I will invite 2 of you to share with me further, and I will give you coaching on the spot for whatever it is that you might need support with for that particular section of the workbook. So this is really an opportunity to get our eyes on your business in more detail. So we highly encourage you to take advantage of the workbook during our time together. We will share that link with you after these sessions, and we will make sure you have access to the Google Drive so that you are not lost and that you always know where to find everything. All right, now let's get to know each other better. Now, because there's 30 of you, unfortunately, we can't just do an introduction for each of you because it will take a lot of time. So this is now the time where I really love for you to get active, to get into the chat and to start typing some responses to the questions that I'm about to ask. But first, I know you're not all in video right now, but here are all of your beautiful faces. All 30 of you are here on this slide. Thank you for submitting your photos so that we could also put them here. But you are the 30 that were chosen out of the 170 women that submitted their applications. You are the 30 that are here with us. You made it into this program, and we are so proud of you for being here. And again, we are so excited to continue to support you over these 12 weeks together. Now, I'm going to start asking a few questions. Jump into the chat so that you can just share a little bit about who you are. And also feel free to put in the chat like, hey, my name is so-and-so, and this is my business very quickly, so that we can also just read as we go, okay? So why don't I give you a minute to do that first? So pop into the chat, tell us your name, and tell us a little bit about your business. And I'm just looking at the chat now. So yeah, all of the dates will be shared with you. The slides will all be shared with you. Maureen, super happy to have you here. Hi, Rebecca Nonono from Uganda. Welcome. Yeah, feel free to jump into the chat and tell us your name and a little bit about your business. And you can also share your country, because that's actually the first question that I had is, where are you currently based? So you represent 12 different countries across the continent. Now, some of you are from countries and you're working in other countries, so tell us where you're at, right? Nai Aro, and if I say your name wrong, please correct me, because I know sometimes I'm going to make mistakes. So Nai is from Madagascar, using black soldier fly as a source of protein for animals. Alisa Capololo from Angola, she has a dry fruit startup. Maureen Dubu, oops, it went too fast. Ladies, some of your surnames I'm going to struggle with, so please teach me. Maureen from Nigeria, Claudiana, the CEO of Phalanx Vision, a company based in the Democratic Republic of Congo, offering digital services like websites, mobile apps, and digital marketing. Gugu from is it Gugu? From Johannesburg, South Africa. I run a civil engineering consulting company. Blend from Ethiopia, Kaba Transport, digitalizing mass transport in Africa. Fanja running a textile company called Simplicity Design from Madagascar. Within her company, she created a brand which focuses on integrated fabric waste into her design. Great. Dina from Madagascar is a social designer, data journalist, and feminist activist. She's the co-founder of Hoi Eva, a feminist data initiative that collects and visualizes gender-specific data to make women's realities visible, especially those of young mothers and rural women. Wow, amazing. Platform combines storytelling, open data, and citizen engagement to influence policies and build solutions grounded in real needs. We believe that data is power, and by making women's voices count, we can drive social justice and inclusive development. Joyce from Kenya, using AI to manage organic waste and manufacture organic fertilizer for farmers. Bethlehem from Ethiopia, representing Emmabet, a job matching platform dedicated for women. It's a mobile app that helps women get a job, both domestic and formal. The next I see is Howie, the founder and CEO of Marcon Packaging from Ethiopia, working on biodegradable packaging solutions made from agricultural wastes. Janet from Kenya, founder of an enterprise that focuses on waste management. Next, we have Jumai Victor Tella from Nigeria. She's the founder, CEO of Top City AgriHub that offer cold storage as a service to reduce food waste. Great. We have Dr. Jennifer Wambugu, CEO and founder of Imperishable Enterprise from Kenya. At Imperishable, we repurpose surplus vegetables and fruits into human nutritional supplements. Antefile, is that right? Antefile from Botswana. Sarah from Madagascar, founder and manager of Event Plus, an event agency for corporate at Madagascar, master of ceremonies for institutional events, and marine conservation consultant also. Selam from Ethiopia, works in agro-processing sector, producing oat milk. Their mission is to improve access to healthy plant-based dairy alternatives, especially during periods of religious fasting where many people seek nutritious non-dairy options. Awesome. And then we have Maureen, the founder of Litmus Africa. Litmus is a creative institution. We specialize in branding, design, printing, production, etc. Awesome. Ladies, there's more. There's more. Okay, the next one. You have to help me with your name, please. Markael. Is that right? It's a great pleasure and opportunity for me.
That's right.
Thank you, Markael. A manager at Golden Honey of Madagascar, a family business, and a family who has practiced beekeeping since 1940. Amazing. Wow, ladies, keep the introductions coming. It's super inspiring to hear about your businesses, and I know we're going to learn more about you over the weeks and months that come. But thank you all for those introductions. I know that you've started to put your countries into the chat already. If you haven't yet, then please pop them in there as well so we can know where you are joining us from. The next question I would love for you to share in the chat is, how long have you been an entrepreneur for? So is it 1 to 3 years, 4 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, or 20 plus years? And you can just put the exact number. You don't have to put it in categories. But just to get a feel for what stage of business you're at, let us know. How long have you been an entrepreneur? We also have an introduction from here from Cameroon. CEO and founder of Marco Eleni. Marco Eleni is an African fashion brand. All right, so we have 9 years, 2 years, 3 years, lots of 3 years. Wow, lots of 3 years. Okay, 2 years, 1 year. Welcome, welcome. 9 years, but 1 year as a full-time entrepreneur. 5 years, 5, 4, 2, 3. Amazing. I love it. It's great that a lot of you are at similar stages of business, because you will certainly share a lot of the same sort of questions and challenges. But even indeed, those of you who have been around for a while, it's also really inspiring sometimes to be with earlier stage entrepreneurs, because they give us fresh insights and ideas of things that we haven't really considered, because we get so caught up in how we do things. Rebecca says with her family, 20 plus years. Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur now for almost, my business birthday is coming up next month. So it will be 13 years in a month's time. So I highly understand everything that you ladies are experiencing, from the highs to the lows to the everything in between, when it comes to starting and running a business and keeping it going. All right, next question. What sector is your business in? I know you all have given some introductions, but if you can just do high level, are you a service-based business? Are you manufacturing? Are you agriculture and food? Are you digital technology, retail, or maybe even something else if I missed a category? Yeah, education, I missed that one. Okay, so we have manufacturing, services, education, manufacturing, agriculture and food transformation, digital technology, agriculture and climate resilience, agriculture and food services, creative and branding. Wonderful. Manufacturing, agriculture, food, digital, retail, climate tech, food manufacturing. Awesome. Lots of similarities, things to learn as well from each other. Next question, are you a mompreneur? Are you also managing a family whilst running your business? We also have transport with technology. So whether your answer is yes or no, it doesn't matter. Whatever your answer is the right one. But it also adds an extra element into running a business when you're also raising kids, as I learned when I had my son a couple of years ago and really had to change the way that I was doing business and the hours that I could put in and the mental exhaustion that comes with having toddlers. And well, when they start out as small newborns and then they become toddlers and then eventually they become teenagers. And I hear it just gets harder and harder. But, okay, so we have some no's, we have some yeses. Yes, yes, half, not yet. Single but taking care of my family. Yeah. Yes, no, no, yes. Mompreneur, love it. Yeah. Yeah, running a self business and a family business at the same time. Wow. Okay. So you are a dual entrepreneur. That's also very, very challenging because let's be honest, like, especially as women, and we'll talk about this a lot next week during the leadership module, but like as women, we have so many demands that are put on us, even if we don't have kids, right? I had kids when I was I don't want to say that I was very old, but I was 41 when I had my son. And so I lived a long time without having a child. And, even before having a child, I still had a million things to do and trying to juggle everything. And then you add a child into the mix and that just compounds. But let's be honest, like we're always, especially domestically, expected to take on a bigger share of the burden of running a household or managing family or looking after older people or looking after younger people and holding it all together. So this is a very real thing. But I also want to highlight if you are a mother and if you are raising especially small children, if you're breastfeeding, feel free to do whatever it is that you need to do even during this training session. If you need to have your child sitting on your lap or playing in the corner and that's the only way that you can be present, that is okay. I remember 2 years ago when I was running this program, my son was brand new and he wanted to breastfeed like every hour because he was just constantly growing. So there were times when he had to be on my lap during this program, and Kiara has also had her daughter sometimes sitting on her lap. So that's just to say, like, we get it. You do what you have to do. You be here in whatever way you can be here. If you have to lock the door and the kid is screaming in the background, which mine might be shortly because he's about to come home, we get it. So don't let that discourage you from being a participant in this program. We are here to support you at whatever stage of the journey that you are at, okay? Awesome. So we would love now for you to all come on video. If you have to cover, please cover. Take a moment to do that. And we would love to take a photo just as a starting point of all of your beautiful faces. Kiara, can I give the honors to you because you do this so well every year? Every year, you're actor. I now have a new friend from Nigeria, and her name is Florence. Amazing. Really good to get to know someone. Great. We are going to be setting up a WhatsApp group. I'll share the QR code with you at the end of the session, so you will have access to each other and in other capacities. But this woman is going to be your buddy throughout the program, so feel free to talk to each other outside of the sessions as well, because like indeed some of you are in the same industries, or some of you are in the same countries, or some of you are at similar stages of business. So it's an opportunity to connect more and to learn from each other. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. And we are going to get into the next part of our session. For those of you who did break out and who lost connection, Sarah, I know you had a couple of challenges. Feel free just to connect with Maureen again in more detail, like through WhatsApp or through email after the session, and just continue to chat with each other. All right, in the final part of today's session, in the last half hour or so that we're together, we're going to spend some time setting your intentions and expectations. So this is an opportunity for you to now do some personal reflection on your business and on your goals, and to set some things for yourself, set your intentions for yourself, so that you really know what it is that you're trying to achieve during our time together. The questions that I'm now going to ask are entirely for you. You do not need to share them in the chat unless, of course, you want to, but they are really an opportunity for you just to provide some self-reflection. When I do want you to share, I'll ask you directly to share, so don't feel like you have to type out your responses for everything. So get a pen and paper, or if you want to write on your notebook or on your phone, that's also perfectly okay, on your computer or on your phone, whatever works best for you, okay? So the first question to reflect on is, why do you do the work that you do? Why do you do the work that you do? What inspires you to get up every morning? Why did you get into this business in the first place? Why do you do it? And I'll remain quiet for a few minutes while you ladies write down your responses. Again, you don't have to put them in the chat unless, of course, you want to, but there's no need to share openly at this point. Okay, the next question, ladies. What do you want from your business? What do you want from your business? Each of us has different aspirations for what we want our business to be able to give us. Some of us want to have an impact. Some of us want to have financial independence. Some of us want to have freedom, whatever that might look like, whether that's time freedom, creative freedom, freedom of choice. Some of us want to have a specific livelihood or lifestyle. Whatever your answer is to this question is entirely yours, and it's entirely right. There's no right or wrong here. So what is it that you want from your business? Maybe you want recognition. Maybe you want accolades. Maybe you want to influence policy or be like an advocate for something. What do you want for your business, from your business? The next question, what does your business look like in 3 years? So bring yourself forward to 2028. What does your business look like then? Think about, what are you doing? What are other people doing? Where are you located? Who are you working with? What do your clients look like? What does your team look like? What does your office look like, or your factory, or your store? Really dream big and write down, what does your business look like in 3 years? Hi, Suzanne. I know you just joined us. So the question is, what does your business look like in 3 years? So, dream big. What are you doing? What are other people doing? Where are you located? Who are you working with? Who are your clients? What does your team look like? What results are you experiencing? What impact are you making? I'll give you ladies 1 more minute to just wrap up this question. And Suzanne, you don't need to share in the chat. Some ladies are, but there's no obligation to. It's really just for your own personal inspiration. Although I love what I'm reading also, because you ladies are super inspiring and aspirational, and I love to see it. Okay, the next question. What do you want to be known for? This can be you as an individual. What do you want to be known for? It can also be what you want your business to be known for. What do you want to be known for? Another way to kind of think about it is like, what do you want people to be saying about you? When they talk about you or they talk about your business, what are some words that you'd hear? The next question, what stops you from achieving what you want? What stops you from achieving what you want? There might be external factors that are preventing you from making the progress you want. There may also be some internal factors, whether that's, fear, a lack of confidence, imposter syndrome, which is something we often suffer from as women in business. What is stopping you from achieving what you want? Mm. Yeah, a lot of you ladies are sharing in the chat, like limited resources, lack of funds, access to funding. This is definitely a common challenge. High cost of running a business is also related to money. So we will be having a few different modules specifically addressing the financial side of business, because it is something that we all need to learn to get through, whether that be by getting money from external or, just getting the customers in to pay us so that we can generate revenue and use that revenue for other things. Others are sharing like limiting beliefs, burnout. Burnout is so real. We'll talk about this also in other sessions. Like it doesn't have to be that way. Like all of the women that I work with, myself included, have burnt out at least once as a business owner, and it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah, you're sharing team members, war. Okay, thanks, ladies. Yeah, the business skills are things that we are definitely going to be teaching you over the next 12 weeks. Of course, there's always going to be external factors that impact our businesses that we don't have any control over. Like war, as Claudiana says. Here in Kenya, also, ladies that are here, like you'll know, every time there's an election, the GDP plummets and people stop making decisions and people stop buying, and there's fear and anxiety, and that has a huge impact on business literally every single 5 years. So how do we protect our businesses? How do we build our businesses in a way that can still kind of overcome some of these external factors that we have literally zero control over? And that's hard. All right, ladies, thanks for sharing. The next question is, what scares you about achieving what you want? What scares you about it? Sometimes, we hold back our success because we're afraid of being successful. Sometimes we fear that, to be successful, we have to sacrifice everything, or that we lose all of our time, or that we lose everything else that's important to us. Sometimes we are afraid of visibility or acknowledgement or being in the limelight. We can all have different fears inside that kind of hold us back in business as well. One of you shared earlier, like the fear of putting yourself out there, like, yeah, having to talk to people and to be vulnerable and to open up can also be very scary. So yeah, what scares you about achieving what you want? And like I said, if you want to share in the chat, I love to read it. If not, that's also okay. Mm. Yeah, being that person who's viewed as you have made it and the expectations that come from that. Yeah, once people see it, like, oh, look, she's made it. Give me some money. Help me with this. Do this for me. Support the family. Support friends. It's a lot of expectation that can be put on you. The fear of going out and telling people what you do. The fear of what if it doesn't work. Yeah, these are all real fears. Fear of unknown, for example, government policies, price fluctuations, lack of support. And as we go through this program, I do want you ladies to bring these fears to us as well. So if there's a topic that is difficult for you, or especially in the coaching sessions and with your mentor, if you decide to go with mentoring, is to bring up some of these fears, because what you'll find, even to your buddy, right, and to each other, a lot of you will share the same fears, and you can give each other practical advice on how to maybe not necessarily overcome it completely, but how to mitigate some of it or how to move forward despite feeling fear, because there's always going to be something that scares us. Salam shares like the fear of not meeting my team, her and her team's expectations. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure that's put on us as well, right? Okay, the next question I would like you to consider is, what are your top 3 business goals for 2025? What is it that you would like to achieve before the year is out? And we're just in May, so there's still lots of time to go. What are your top 3 business goals for this year? Yeah, a few of you had talked about raising capital, accessing funding, employing more people, growing a team, scaling production, surpassing targets. Establishing a solid community. Lots of raising capital, expand business to 3 additional rural communities, support 300 farmers, access funding, run a successful business, scale up, be financially independent, be able to pay school fees for some people that are struggling, being the best and bring excellence in what I do, raising capital. So now bring your focus closer. So I just want you now to think until the end of July, which is basically our time together. What is it that you would like to achieve by July 2025? So even for these bigger goals that you've said, so for example, raising capital or growing a team, maybe by July it looks a bit smaller. Maybe in order to raise capital, by July you need to have a solid pitch deck, or you need to have your business model sorted, you need to have your revenue model sorted. Maybe if it is to grow a team, by July you have a list of what those job requirements are and the descriptions, and you start to put those out to the market so that you can bring people in. So break it down a little bit further. What is it that you would like to achieve by July 2025? Refined business model, increase online presence. Meaningful relationships, mentorship, opportunities to diversify and build partnerships. Great. Yeah, Maureen shares to acquire the right skills to manage every aspect of her business. And we're definitely going to teach you skills in so many different areas. As your business continues to grow, you'll find that you won't be able to manage everything, that eventually you will need to bring other people on board to help you. But in the beginning, especially in the beginning, as business owners, we often have to know how everything works. Exporting products overseas, getting guidance on accessing financing and applying for funding, organizing a pitch deck, refining the business model, digital marketing, partnerships. Great. Mushtaq says to be the first innovation and technology center in Somalia. Great. And similar to this, so what do you most want to learn or develop in this time? I know some of you ladies have kind of answered this question already, like Maureen saying to learn all these different aspects of business, but think about other things, like what is it that you most want to learn or develop during our next 3 months together? Scaling to new markets. Refining business structure and systems. Letting go of fear of public speaking, learning financial models. Great. Build partnerships and grow a strong team. Access funding. Attracting investors, finance and management. How to set my brand apart from the industry. Rebecca says sanity and work-life balance as a founder. Yeah, Rebecca, on that, I can also share some resources that I've created about work-life balance and stepping away from hustle. I can share it with all of you ladies, but not right this second. I will come back to that. Access to expert-led training and coaching, building partnerships with technology centers. Great. Being able to prepare to start pitching to investors, access funding and partnerships. Okay, awesome. And yeah, again, a lot of this is stuff that we'll be covering in the different modules, but if you ever feel like something is missing, that you still need extra support, then please bring those questions, especially during the Overcoming Barriers coaching session, and then to your mentor if you decide to apply for mentoring. Business skills marketing, business model funding. Perfect. The next question, what support do you need to get there? In order for you to reach the goals that you have for yourself for July and also the goals that you have for yourself for 2025 in its entirety, what support do you need to get there? Now, this might be practical support, like actual people doing things for you, or it might be learning support, or it might be financial support, but what support do you need to be able to reach the goals that you set for yourself? Here says access to a mentor who has worked with major fashion brands. How to be present in European markets, how to access them and develop communication strategies and cooperations, raising capital to scale. Yeah, financial support, mentorship, financial support. Export markets. Mentorship support, mentorship, peer-to-peer, learning from other agribusiness women, team management, financial support, market access to EU. Great. So for those of you who are saying mentorship, definitely make that application for mentorship. I will continue to remind you about it, to send that motivation letter into Christina by the 27th of this month. So you have some time. And then, you know, just be active and present in all of the training sessions to be considered for that. And having access to that mentor will really support you in a more bespoke way, in a more one-to-one way. Fanja says visiting successful companies in her sector and learning from it. Yeah, that's awesome. Like learning from your peers, whether they're in this group or outside the group, is a great way to build up your knowledge and to see what can we do differently, what can we do better. The same, Claudiana says the same, get in touch with other successful companies in her area. Okay, perfect. Partnerships. Great. And then the final question for today is, what are the first steps that you need to take? What is the first step that you need to take in order to get closer to your goals? Try to make it something that is achievable in the short term, that you can even do this week or even next week to start you moving closer to the goals that you say that you have for yourself. Janet says to attend and participate in all mentorship sessions of this program. Focus on the goal, make a persuasive presentation about business to raise funds, capacity building, mentorship, partnership, access to markets. I know some of you are answering previous questions as well. So when you're thinking about first steps, even like the one of you shared, I'm moving up. So when you talk about making a persuasive presentation, another first step that could potentially be taken for all of you that are actually talking about access to funding is doing a little bit of research into what funding is available in, whether it's in your market or in the larger African context, or even looking at EU programs that might fund African entrepreneurs, and just starting to make a list of what that looks like. This is where AI is super helpful to do research on your behalf, and like that can pull together lists of things rather than you having to sit there and go through every single website. So if you're already familiar with AI and you're using it, then this is definitely a way to tap into that and ask like, hey, what funding opportunities are available for, and then give a description about what it is that you do. Jennifer says to start social media marketing. Maureen, believing in herself and her goal and dedicating time for this program. Yeah, Sarah says attending this program is already the first step for me. Great. Amazing, ladies. So we are here to support you during this process and to continue to build up your confidence and your expertise so that you can run your businesses and really get them out there and scale them in a way that attracts investors, that attracts funding. And we will be teaching you more about accessing financing in later modules of this program. But one thing I will say is that competition for finance is tough, right? There's a lot of, as you all saw, like you're all looking for money and there's only so much money that's out there for entrepreneurs. So the competition is often tough. So really spending the time that this program is going to take you through about refining your business model, figuring out what it is that you're doing, what exactly you're selling, who you're selling it to, how you're going to price it, how you're going to build partnerships in order to get your product or service out there is indeed a super important part of the entire process of eventually going and asking for funding, whether that money is coming from a bank in the form of a loan, or it's coming from friends and family, or it's coming from an angel investor, or it's coming from some sort of competition or grant. Like, you have to make your business compelling for people to want to give you money. So definitely go through each of the modules of this training session with that in mind. Take the advice of the experts that are going to be alongside you during this process. Take advantage of the mentor that will be assigned to you if you make that application, so that you can really start to refine your business model and make it airtight, so that when you do start to put it out there, people are like, yeah, this makes sense. This looks like something that I want to invest in. All right. We have just 2 minutes left, so I'm just going to take you quickly through the final slides of today's deck and just share with you what's next. So next week, we are going to be having our first coaching session, which is around becoming a leader. I am going to share a link with you that's going to take you to a very, very short assessment so that you can determine what type of leadership personality you currently have. Now, that doesn't mean that any leadership personality is right or wrong. It's just an information for you to take into next week's session as we start to talk about leadership in more detail. So I will be sharing that link with you after this session. And then from there, we are going to be meeting every Tuesday at the exact same time, at the same place, from 11:30 East Africa time to 1:15 East Africa time. I know some of you are in different time zones, so just do the conversion from there. Here are some useful links, and I know you'll get these slides after, so right now you can't click on them. All of the slides and recordings are going to be in a Google folder, which we will also share with you after this session. We would love for you to join our WhatsApp group, which is a place for us to talk in between sessions, for you ladies to connect with each other, whether that's one-to-one or one-to-many, to share what you're up to. We will also be sending reminders in that WhatsApp group for each session that comes. I will be sharing the link for next week for that assessment in there as well. And we will see you every Tuesday from now. Oops, there's a typo here. From now until the 22nd of July, not the 15th of July, the 22nd of July. The Zoom link and passcode will always remain the same, so that you're never having to fumble around looking for what that looks like. On this next slide now, there is the QR code. So if you have your phones available now, please go ahead and scan that QR code in WhatsApp. It will take you to the WhatsApp group where you ladies can connect with each other and also connect with us more during the duration of this program. We do not close that WhatsApp group down. So for the ladies that were with us in previous years, their WhatsApp groups are still there. They still share with each other. They still connect with each other. And it's an opportunity for you ladies to do the same thing. So join that group. We'd love to see your faces. We will share these links all with you over email so that you have them accessible, and we will be reminding you every single week about what they are. But thank you so much for joining us today and for taking the time to engage and connect and to share. Again, we are super excited about what the next 3 months has in store for all of us, and we will see you all again next week.